Hi there, this is Dr. Bikash, and today I'll be discussing about why people die all of a sudden. There are many reasons why people die, because if you look at the heart, we have this tracing in the heart. This is P, this is QRS. Okay, this is the ECG for our heart. So whenever we have this is in medical terms we call it depolarization or an action potential. I'll write AP, action potential. So what happens, what is the point with action potential is it is dependent on different kind of anions. Okay, let's say this peak here, actually this is not very correct, let me draw the correct one. It comes like this, suddenly goes up and then plateaus here and it comes down. So this is maintained by calcium, this is potassium, but this is sodium. Now you see, so the whole heart is very fragile. So let's say if this potassium become very high or very low, calcium become very high, very low, a sodium changes can cause problem. So there are some diseases which runs in family, like Brugada syndrome, and there are a lot of disease which is affecting the potassium channel. We have certain death syndromes with that, certain cardiac death syndrome with that, and some just have the problem with this KCN channel of potassium. So you can see that dying from a heart attack is not that hard. A little bit of high sodium or high potassium can cause a problem, because this will disrupt this ECG. This ECG which is showing this value is just running on the fact that the sodium, potassium and calcium are managing this thing. You understand? So it's not that hard. But what happens is, this is rare to have cardiac death due to congenital syndrome, but it is very much possible. You can search Brugada syndrome, you can look for Jervell-Nelson syndrome, this is JN. This also causes certain cardiac death. And there is Romano-Ward syndrome. So there are different kind of syndrome. Some of them will have deafness. Patient will have deafness because the same channel also is required in our ears. Okay, so I'm not going to this genetic details which genetic diseases are causing. There are some other cause of certain cardiac death, which is HOCM. This also can lead to cardiac death all of a sudden. But what we are talking right now is which the general mass is suffering. Okay, so this is an unfortunate situation where you are born with a defect in your channel. Okay, but if that is not the case, when you have a problem like this, now what is this which is coming in the blood vessel? See, this is a normal, okay, normal human being, they should be like this. When you are born as a child, you are like this. But what happens is, you are eating. What are you eating? You are eating stress from education, you are smoking, no sleep, anxiety, definitely anxiety, not eating fruits, drinking a lot, and not being loving and kind, and definitely you are not managing any of your stress. So what is happening is, all this is not because all of a sudden this came. This was developing, but for good people, let's say, I mean for bad people, it's not about good or bad people. I think for the people who are fortunate or they are lucky, they develop this kind of plaque which is stable. Get it? So when they have a stable plaque here, which is stable, okay, like this, even this is blocked. Okay, so this patient is having symptoms. Why he is having pain? Because there is no blood supply. See, this is the pathway, this is the pipe. We are cutting the pipe in the cross section. When we cut this pipe, you see this is the blockade here, right? Now you understand why we are planning to remove this with streptokinase, we are basically planning to break this wall. So this has been developed, but this development is okay to some extent. You know why? Because this will give us severe symptoms to the patient earlier, and then he might reach the hospital on time and get this thing removed. But people who have unstable angina, or those with the plaques which are formed like this, because the blood can reach from here, right? Blood can pass, so this patient may not have a severe symptoms. But all of a sudden what happens is one day this plaques get broken down and get dislodged in more distal arteries. So what happens? This will cause the blockage. You understand my point, right? So once this comes suddenly, because when there is a time for body to adapt, when this plaque is developing, patient is having angina symptoms, body is trying to compensate. How will the body compensate is they will produce a lot of blood vessels. These are called collaterals, right? So when they produce a lot of blood vessels, he may not die immediately, okay? But if not taken care, of course this is also not a good idea if 3 blood vessels are blocked. But what will happen with this comes suddenly, all of a sudden. So the best way is to prevent this plaque formation or disrupting the arteries. So what we can do is have a good sleep, don't smoke, definitely don't smoke, and stress, anxiety are definitely it's not a part of life actually. This is man-made because we are competing with others. We want to be like others or more than others. It's not about not having all of them. We can have all of them, but without any competition. We go at our own pace, okay? We'll have it, but at our own pace. This should happen. The stress and stress management, the reason why I said this is a wrong term. Why are you going to manage the stress? You should manage the money, right? But this is the common term which is used, so I'm using this one. And we should definitely try inner engineering. That is well approved, medically approved, as well as you can find many articles in PubMed, so you can try this one. And definitely if we be loving and kind, we have a different chemistry going on within us. And of course the food we eat. So what is coming up here? All cholesterol, okay? So try to bring some lemon in diet, try to bring some honey in diet, try to bring some grapes in diet, right? Try to bring some apple. So the grape is also good, okay? They found that in France, those people who are drinking grape wine are less prone to cardiac disease. This was a research done. So grapefruit is, I'm not recommending any wine, okay? I'm recommending fruits. Apple. You can go with the fruits. This is really good. One day, like today, especially Ekadasi, right? You don't go with anything today. You don't eat anything, okay? Personally, I don't eat because there's no need, okay? So there are a lot of things in understanding human system, okay? Human system is not well understood, especially with the medical science. No, don't think that they have understood. We just know how to treat the symptoms. Luckily, we know that this is a blockade, okay, and we know how to break it, okay? But we may find a good ways to solve this problem, okay? I'm not saying that it's not good, okay? But we should find how to stay here. We should not come here, or should not come here, because people nowadays are finding solutions here, okay? This means money to companies, okay? This is a lot of money, understand? So let's say if I want to advertise some hamburger or Coke or whatever which is causing this thing to come up, or even stress and anxiety, I become a boss. Probably they are giving money to the company of the bosses. Become sick. So this should not happen. I mean, this is not, I don't mean actually. But what I'm saying is the lifestyle, we should really change it. Okay, change it. And we should understand that those things which are available in the markets, which are advertised in the markets, may not be necessarily healthy. Okay, so we need to adjust that, especially the packed fruit. Anything more than one, they don't eat. That's a simple thing. Except for the pulses and all, which can be stored, dry fruits which can be stored, which can be live even if they are stored, that thing is okay. But if it is something like we have some pork and this and that, some pickles and all that, so not so good.